I am down here in Cedar Brae, southwest Calgary area, and apparently someone thought it was okay to put the electrical panel in the bathroom. As you can see behind me, there's the toilet. That was the vanity right there. And over here in the corner is the stand-in shower. You know, that is not acceptable, 110%, to put in an electrical panel in your bathroom. Now, it's in section 26 of the code book. I believe it's called placement of panel boards. I don't remember the exact code rule. I'm sorry. I don't have my code book here in front of me, but it is 110% not acceptable to put electrical panels in a bathroom. Okay, so we moved the electrical panel out of the bathroom, but because we are beyond 3 meters, 14100 of the Canadian Electrical Code, we have to have this main breaker within 3 meters of this meter, including the wire inside of here. So here's our system ground. Here's the bonding jumper for these connectors. And then here's the bond running through the ACWU. And yeah, I was going to tighten up my tech connector and it broke the knockout. And my one supplier didn't have any of these reducing washers. So for all your exotic electrical needs, go to eCall Electric. They will get you through in a pinch. Cheers. All right, here's the sub panel now, because the main disconnect is outside. That little brass tab got removed. Not like the one I found there last week, however long ago that was. Here's where the old panel used to be. We're in the process of pulling all that stuff that'll reach over there. And then the rest of it will just have to be spliced. But anyhow, there's the big boy running through there. There's my butt splice in the system ground. I still got to throw some ground clamps on the hot and cold water and pick up the gas line just because. Don't have to anymore, but the ground in that BX is questionable, so it's one of those old school things where the armor was the ground, which isn't kosher. There's all my supplies. Anyways, this is kind of step by step where we're at. Just coming along. It's a work in progress. We are now at 4:20 in the afternoon here on Monday, and yeah, power's back on to that main breaker outside the house there, but now we got to start splicing all the wire here and running it back over to the new panel over there. Long day today. So here's the progress report from yesterday. I got everything all permanently spliced together there. I had to do that stove cable there to the 50 amp sub panel with some compression lugs and some stove bolts there because I didn't have any more big giant barrettes. And it's kind of like how you would do it for the pecker head in a motor. A lot of aluminum wiring in the house here. Half of it was aluminum, so that's all those brown barrettes there in the very bottom. Where's my finger? There she is. And then we broke the ground right there on the aluminum, so we had to splice that back together. Keep that ground wire and that bonding continuous throughout all the metal boxes and that circuit. All right, off to the panel now. Well, here is the final product on this one. It came together very nicely. I did a short little 1-minute video or so of that torque screwdriver in use. So I make sure that my staff are using that in the future for any panel work that we do. I always like to make sure that everything is torqued to the manufacturer specifications. And then we'll get a little bit more of a close-up on that bad boy. Yeah, that's a wrap, finally.